The old man had gone out there planning to bury himself alive, but when his shovel struck something hard, he dug a little more and uncovered a solid chunk of gold, shaped almost like a dog's head. Hands shaking, he brushed the dirt away, golden light spilling across his weathered face. On his way to die, he had literally dug up a mountain of gold. He clamped a hand over his mouth, did not make a sound, just stared in disbelief. This much gold was enough to keep him fed and safe for the rest of his life. What he did not realize was that this was also the beginning of his disaster. After digging out every piece of gold he could find, he set off for town the next morning, ready to trade it all for cash. Halfway there, he ran into a group of defeated Nazi soldiers. As the old man walked past, each of them wore the same arrogant, domineering look. They had just looted a village and taken away all the women. When he passed the officer who was carrying their gold, the officer's eyes locked onto him, never leaving his back. But the old man did not notice and simply kept walking. Just then, a nearby soldier raised his rifle, ready to shoot the old man. Right as he was about to pull the trigger, the officer stopped him. It was not out of kindness. They had already wiped out everyone along this road, and reinforcements were coming from behind. There was no need to waste a bullet on an old man. On the way back toward town, the old man saw bodies hanging by the roadside. He could only spare a moment of silent pity for them. In this chaos of war, all he wanted now was to stay alive. Soon, he ran into another group of Nazi soldiers. One of them rode his horse straight into the old man's path, and from up there immediately spotted the gold prospector's tools. He ordered his men to search the old man. None of them realized the old man's patience was already at its limit. The sack stuffed full of gold was seized on the spot. Knowing trouble had finally arrived, the old man crouched down slightly, letting the tracking dog pass first. The soldiers raised their guns with open contempt and ordered the old man to kneel, never noticing the fury burning in his eyes. In their heads, they were already celebrating, thinking this dirty fortune was now safely theirs. The old man's hand was already wrapped around the knife at his waist. The other soldiers froze for a heartbeat, then scrambled to draw their guns. But the old man moved first. He was so fast it took their breath away. Before they could react, gunfire exploded across the road, echoing into the distance. The shot startled a retreating officer in a tank. He turned back with his armor and crew, and when he rolled up to the scene, what he saw left him speechless. Bodies scattered everywhere. It was obvious this old man was not an ordinary person. Taking the bag of gold his men had collected, the officer instantly understood. The old man must have even more gold. This was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and he had no intention of letting it go. Soon, the officer was chasing after him in the tank. To survive, the old man jumped into a small boat and paddled for his life. 2 shells roared past and exploded nearby. Yet somehow he was not hit. Then the heavy machine gun opened up, spitting bullets like a metal storm. The old man shot through the barrage, as if reality itself were missing him. Hundreds of bullets, not one struck his body. Through his binoculars, the officer tracked the old man's direction. He was close enough now to kill him and take all the gold, but instead of advancing, he stopped the tank and stayed right where he was. This strange move made the old man uneasy. He calmed his horse, then cautiously urged it forward. The next second, a buried mine went off. The horse that had carried him for years was blown to pieces, left as nothing but a torn hide. The old man was in agony, but at least the animal had absorbed the full blast for him. The hard-won gold was scattered all over the ground. He bent down and started picking it up again. This was his only guarantee for the rest of his life. But now the Nazi officer had caught up to him. Seeing the gold glittering in the dirt, greed flooded the officer's eyes. The old man quietly picked up a stone, then slowly stood up. After a brief stare down, the officer gave the order, "Fire." Gunfire ripped through the air, but the soldiers were quickly swallowed by a thick cloud of smoke. The old man was using a heavy gold pan to shield himself from the hail of bullets, slowly backing away. The officer suddenly ordered them to stop shooting and sent 2 soldiers into the smoke to finish the job. But even though they had planted the mines themselves, they no longer remembered every exact position. The 2 soldiers ran forward in panic and were blown apart in an instant. When the smoke finally cleared, the old man was gone. All they found near the mine pit was a dog tag half buried in the dirt. From the name on it, they finally learned who he was. When their superiors heard that name, they immediately ordered a full retreat. The tag belonged to a top Special Forces soldier everyone was terrified of. During the war, he had killed around 300 Russian soldiers all by himself. He had once led a one-man suicide squad, known on the battlefield as the Immortal Warrior. The fact these men were still alive until now was pure luck, but the officer scoffed at the legend. He ignored the general's order and fixed his eyes on those 2 bags of gold. At this point in the war, they were about to lose everything. In his mind, only that gold could buy them a way out. Meanwhile, the old man who had escaped alive collapsed beside an abandoned car, his strength nearly gone. In the earlier fight, bullets had torn through his arm and leg. With no real medical help, the wound on his arm would hardly stop bleeding. He rubbed charcoal ash into it, then wrapped his thigh tight with a belt and dug the bullets out with his own knife. After all this, he was completely exhausted. The pain and fatigue dragged him straight into unconsciousness. Not long after, the Nazi officer arrived again, this time with 2 hunting dogs. Luckily, the noise woke the old man up. Seeing the enemy searching nearby, he knew it was already too late to run. If he stayed where he was, the dogs would find him for sure. To survive, he made a desperate choice. As a transport truck rumbled past, he slid under it and grabbed onto the chassis. But he knew how sharp the dogs' noses were, so he stabbed his knife into the fuel tank. Gasoline sprayed out at once, fumes flooding the air and overwhelming the dog's sense of smell. By the time the soldiers noticed the leak and stopped the truck, the old man had already slipped away toward a nearby river. As he ran, a sniper's bullet smashed into his calf. The officer released the hounds immediately. Seeing them charge straight at him, the old man calmly struck a match. Flames roared to life, a wall of fire cutting off the dog's trail. Watching this, the officer ordered his men to fire again. To stay alive, the old man dove into the river, grabbing the weeds to drag himself down and sink beneath the surface. The Germans waited on the bank, certain he would have to come up for air. Sure enough, after what felt like 30 minutes, a figure finally broke the surface. The soldiers pulled their triggers, and blood spread across the water. The officer assumed he was dead and sent men in to retrieve the gold, not realizing it was all part of a trap. While the soldiers were searching, none of them noticed the old man had already appeared behind them, quiet and deadly as a ghost.